All right. To start the sermon, can I kindly request everyone to say 3 times Sadhu? Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Yattanuko bhante न जायति न जीयति न मीयति न चवति न उपपज्यति सक्कानुकोसो भन्ते गमनेन लोकस्य अन्तो ज्ञातुं वा तट्टुं वा पापुनितुं वाति यत्तको आवसो न जायति न जीयति न मीयति न चवति न उपपज्यति नाहं तं गमनेन लोकस्य Antang nyateya datteya patteyanti vadamiti. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear Dhamma friends, we have gathered here to mark the third month remembrance of Basita's wife and wife, mother of the children, and so far as most of you are concerned, a dear friend, and for me in person, a noble friend who has passed away about 3 months ago. And in selecting a verse or a topic to discuss in this event, I was thinking for some time, and then I picked up this particular topic that I just chanted, and I'm quite sure that none of you understood what it is. The meaning of that is Lord Buddha is meeting a divine being, usually during the time of the Lord Buddha. During daytime, he's preaching human beings, and then late in the night, the divine beings, other beings come and meet him. So this particular divine being called Rohitasara meets Lord Buddha, and he's asking this question in Pali, and what I recited was in Pali. And the question he's asking is it possible, Lord, by traveling to know, see, reach a far end of the cosmos, where one does not take birth, age, die, pass away, or reappear? It's a question the divine being is asking from the Lord Buddha. And then his answer is, I tell you, friend, that is not possible by traveling to know, see, or reach a far end of the cosmos, where one does not take birth, age, die, pass away, or reappear. So why I selected this discourse or this particular topic was it is very relevant to all of us. And Rohitas, after receiving this answer from the Lord Buddha, he is amazed with the answer and says, well said, Bhante. I myself has done this journey. He has been a very powerful skywalker in one of his birth, and he has developed his mind to such an extent he will be able to walk in the universe. And sometimes you may feel that these are fairy tales, but anyway, my point is not that. He has been looking for a place where there is no aging, where there is no death, where there is no passing away, where there is no decay. And it is the exact same question that we all are facing even now. And we know, especially in Australia and in the Western world, the amount of funds that are being invested in health research and in medical research. Why? As much as possible to avoid aging, as much as possible to prolong the life, as much as possible to avoid decaying, as much as possible to avoid death. But so far, it has not happened. And it is not just now, even those good, very, very long time ago, aeons ago, the same question has been there. And people have looked answers for that, even through developing their mind. And this particular person is someone like that. He has not done his research in a lab. He has not done his research in a test field as such, using mice and monkeys and all sorts of other objects. He himself has walked, not on the earth, but he has walked in the cosmos. He has walked in the universe. And he tells Lord Buddha, I have been walking in the universe for 100 years, just taking few hours for my food and to take a rest. And then I just died walking in the universe. I never found a place where there is no age, where there is no aging, where there is no decaying, where there is no death. So therefore, this is a perennial question. It is not just a question that we invest money today. And when we look at this person, he has, in my point of view, he's the best researcher of the subject, because all others are not putting himself or herself in looking answers for the death, in looking answers for decaying, aging, and sickness. But he has put himself in the front line and he has looked for it. And it is therefore very relevant to all of us who are living, relevant to all who will be born in the future as well. Although Blessed One's answer was in the negative, and then Blessed One continued and gave another answer, which confused this particular Devata, particular divine being. And initially, Lord Buddha said, no, you can't walk in the cosmos and you will not find a place where there is no decay. And then he says, but at the same time, I tell you, my friend, that there is no making an end of suffering and stress without reaching the end of the cosmos as well. So when this was said, this divine being was utter confused. And he was thinking to himself, what is this person is talking? And he is not making any sense of his answers. And then the Blessed One said, the cosmos that I am referring to is not the universe that you are walking. It is your fathom-long body. It is your own body is the cosmos. So you will have to master that. By mastering that, you will be able to go through the cosmos, because we have each and every element that is available in the universe, available in the cosmos, in our body. And therefore the Blessed One says, if possible, you master that, and that will give you an answer to the end of suffering, to the end of stress, to the end of decaying, to the end of aging, to the end of death. And this is exactly what the Blessed One mentioned, even in another discourse that all of us are familiar about, which is the 4 foundations of mindfulness. In that discourse, the Blessed One says the same thing, that you will have to go through this fathom-long body, and he goes even beyond that in that discourse. How he says is, he says, Ujum kayang panidaya parimukang sating upatta petwa. Ujung kayang panidaya means taking the body as the focal point, taking the body as your target point. Parimukang sating upattapetva means you keep the mindfulness to the fore. Take the body as your focal point and have your mindfulness, have your attention, have your awareness to this body. And it is not just having attention to the body. Keep that attention in the forefront. Give the driving seat to that awareness. Then you will be able to walk on this universe, walk on this cosmos, and go beyond this fathom long body. And why I take this discourse in this manner is because I basically associated Rishani as a noble friend. She was in my mindfulness group, which we call Samahita Mindfulness Group. And she was a very dedicated, continuing practitioner, even before she was diagnosed. And then after diagnosing, she was very ardent practitioner. And therefore, I remember when I received few minutes at the funeral, I mentioned that she is giving us a message. She has been an angel to give this message. How she became an angel was, she started practicing this mindfulness. She started walking in this cosmos that we call fathom long body or our physical process even before she was diagnosed. And that can be done only by a matured person, only by who sees life beyond life. And she had that maturity, and she was practicing that, and she was able to some extent go beyond the certain aspects of this Katham long body and go beyond some of the elements that we find in the cosmos. So, and if she's an angel and if she has given a message, I thought that message she has been practicing to be given even in this audience, even in this talk. So what we were practicing basically in our group is the mindfulness. And that is exactly what Buddha says to Rohitasa. You will have to walk on the cosmos. That cosmos is this fathom long body, and you will have to have your awareness to the fathom long body. So when you have awareness, to take the awareness, we should know exactly what you mean by mindfulness. And or in Pali, as I have mentioned here, they call it sati. We will have to understand the meaning of sati exactly, because I know it's a very popular term in the world today, and in any workplace, if you find, the mindfulness is a very popular, very buzzing word. But I have seen and I have walked around few countries, few places, and most of the people don't have the right understanding of what mindfulness is. And most of the people think that mindfulness is, observing your breath or doing some mindfulness activities. And therefore, although this word has come to light nowadays, people really don't have an understanding. So I thought of giving that understanding to the best of my ability for this audience, so that you will be able to practice what she was practicing. And you can take the message from her because of that. So it may be your wife, it may be your mother, it may be your friend, it may be your aunt, it may be your sister. Doesn't matter. She has given the message, and I'm trying to tell you what that message is. So in mindfulness, what the Blessed One is requesting us to do is to learn the art of not doing anything, or to learn the art of non-reaction, right? So to do this, to avoid doing something, or to avoid reacting to what is happening, you will have to maintain simple awareness. We call it choiceless awareness. So if you maintain choiceless awareness, then the question is, maintaining choiceless awareness in what way? In order to be mindful, we will have to maintain choiceless awareness, not to the surrounding. And if you Google mindfulness or what is mindfulness, there are plenty of definitions given. And they say being aware of the surrounding. Being aware of the surrounding, we already have. And we have the awareness, not only the surrounding, we have the awareness even up to the other galaxies. This is what NASA is doing. And the mindfulness we are talking about is not that awareness. The mindfulness we are talking about is not to explore the outer space. The Blessed One is teaching us to explore the inner space. So in order to explore the inner space, we will have the choiceless awareness to I am, the entity called, the unit called I am. And it is not just I am right here, right now. So therefore, if we bring our awareness as you are listening, as you are sitting, if you can bring your awareness to this hearing or to whatever that you are feeling in this particular point in time, and that is awareness. And that brings you closer to you. Otherwise, we will not be closer to ourselves. We will be closer to somebody else. We will be thinking about the past and the future. We will be thinking about other places, even other galaxies. But if you bring the choiceless awareness to the inner space, to I am, so you meet the best friend of your life. You meet the best friend that you have been looking for, which is you yourself. So when we are living, we usually live in a way that we haven't found ourselves. And that is why we are in a rat race. And we are looking for something, and we don't know what we are looking. And what we are looking is right now, right here with yourself. It has been there ever since we have lived in this universe. But only thing is, although we have had it with us for such a long time, we never knew it. We never brought our attention to it. Our attention was always, except I am, anybody else, except now, any other time, except here, any other place. So therefore, mindfulness is such a simple equation. Bring the awareness to I am here and now. And the simile, or how to bring that awareness, and it is easier said than done. When you say choiceless awareness, you may wonder how this choiceless awareness can be maintained. The best simile that I have heard for the choiceless awareness is the CCTV camera. You will have to simply observe. You will have to simply record. You will have to simply take all the information of yourself right here, right now. And if you have such information every second, every fraction of a second in time, and every fraction of the second in space of yourself, then you will be mindful. And it's very, very interesting to see that you are taking the tiniest spot, tiniest intersection of the time and space. The tiniest intersection or tiniest point in time is now. Tiniest point in space is here. So we take that intersection of time and space, and to that intersection, you just introduce yourself, relate yourself to that. And when you do that, you will be able to, you will not be, let me put it this way, you will not be consumed by time. You will not be consumed by space. Instead, you will be able to consume time and space. Otherwise, what we do is, when we start on Monday, we are waiting until Friday because we don't like the time. But if you live now it so much is there, you will be able to experience. And the time will not be able to eat you. You will be able to gradually eat the time, consume the time. So that is what the mindfulness is teaching. So to do that, you will have to have simple choiceless awareness, like a CCTV camera. CCTV camera will be fully switched on and fully battery charged, and it will be recording anything that will come on its path. It will not bother. Suppose it's a CCTV camera in your residence. It will not bother whether the landlord is coming, or his spouse is coming, or the children are coming, or robber is coming, or dog is coming, or an animal is coming, a friend is coming. CCTV camera doesn't bother. It will simply record everything that is happening. And in the same way, you also will make notes. You will also be aware. You will also record all what is going on just here, just now. And if you can do that, and if you can practice that, then you will be learning mindfulness. And that is what we have been doing in our group. And that is what Rishani has been doing for so many years. And she has gone through therefore. She has met herself. She had gone through time. She has not been consumed by time when she was living. Because I had many discussions with her when she was sick, and she was perfectly healthy in her mind. Our physical body will decay, but if you are mindful, you can have a very strong mindset. You will have a very strong mind. You will have a very strong mental process. And that mental process is what matters to decide whether you will be going to a next life, or whether you will be going for a decaying life, or whether you will have a reappearance, will be decided the strong mind. So if you are living right here, right now, which indicates that you are not having any expectation. So when you don't have expectations, but only thing that you are doing is awareness and observation, and the lack of expectations will take a lot of stress away. So when you take a lot of stress away, a lot of suffering away, that will give you an opportunity to have a mindset to avoid this decaying, to avoid this continuous suffering. So the mindfulness is therefore is giving living beings a very strong weapon to the answer that the entire universe is looking for. And there is nobody, there is no animal, there is no living being who is willing to die. And that is a common question that all of us are having. But how many of us are looking for answers to that? And we try to prolong our life. We try to eat the best possible food. We try to wear the best possible clothes. We try to have the best possible protection. But none of those physical things will be able to answer that question. To answer that question, we will have to understand this body is created by the mind. Mind means an energy. As you all know, most of you may have done science. I have not done science anyway. But you know, this energy is the one that ultimately creates physicality. And that only creates mass. And that mass, we think, can be protected. We think that can be secured. we think that can be held permanently. It can be done only if we go to the very root of the mass, which is the energy layer. To go to the energy layer, you will have to have this awareness to this fathom long body. When you have the awareness to the fathom long body, it will give you an opportunity to see how it rolls up, how it works. That is why the Blessed One says it is the cosmos, and you have each and every particle that is found in the cosmos in the fathom long body. So the summary is, so far as mindfulness is concerned, you will have to simply keep in your mind that it is choiceless awareness, and mindfulness is not any technique that we use. As I mentioned, don't think observing breath is mindfulness. Don't think observing your walking process is mindfulness. Don't think observing your day-to-day activities is mindfulness. Though they are techniques, and you use those techniques to see whether you have the awareness of what you are doing. Sometimes when you do those things, you may have the awareness of what you are doing. Some other times you may not have the awareness of what you are doing. So if you don't have the awareness of what you are doing, even that is awareness. Knowing that you don't have awareness is also awareness. So this is a point that most of the mindfulness practitioners and teachers and coaches have gone wrong. And they simply forget that mindfulness is choiceless awareness. They get hooked onto a technique, and then they think, they say, they teach that technique is the awareness. Technique is mindfulness. So bear in your mind, if you are taking this message, technique is not mindfulness. Mindfulness is, I'm emphasizing, is choiceless awareness. No matter what happens, so long as you know, so long as you have the details of what is happening, and if you can explain in detail, then your mindfulness has heightened. So that choiceless awareness will gradually teach you the art of not doing things. That will gradually teach you art of non-reaction, because it is a habit. It is not a habit, rather it's an obsession in our mind to react. We always see what is good, what is bad. We always see where is blame, where is praise. We always try to see what is white, what is black, what we like, what we don't like. We always keep choosing on that basis. We always evaluate, interpret, analyze, and categorize and see things what we want. And this is what we have been taught by all the systems that we have in the world today. But Blessed One is the only one who came and said that you simply don't have any choice. The word good is there simply because the word bad is there. So good and bad is the same coin, just the two sides. So you will have to learn the art of non-reactionally accepting. Don't continue the habit of choosing. So therefore he comes and asks us, simply keep observing, become an observer. And this is called the noble quest. In the noble quest, you simply do observation only. In other quests, the experiments that we are doing today, maybe the basic way you do an experiment is you have the experiment, you have the observation, you have the judgment or the conclusion. That is how we usually do a research. But in this noble quest, noble research, it is an experiment and observation only. Absolutely no judgment. Absolutely no decision. Decision is always suspended. Non-judgmental awareness, non-judgmental observation. is only giving you that capability, that capacity to be non-reactional. And that will challenge the habit pattern of the mind. And that will challenge your nervous system. And that training in the mind will change your brain. And this is why the scientists are saying, change the mind, train the brain, or the other way around. I don't remember exactly. So that way, if we can challenge this habit that the mind is having, or the addiction the mind is having, the continuous reaction, then you will be able to go a long way using this fathom-long body, and you will be able to go beyond the cosmos. And if you go beyond the cosmos, then while living, you will have the opportunity to find the answer for the death. I heard that someone who has been in the funeral has said, after my few minutes of talk, we thought that the Buddhism is dead, because looking at what is happening in the temples, looking at what people are doing in the temple, the younger generation is fed up. The younger generation is intelligent, and they have information, and they have some clue of what has to happen and what Buddhism is, and they see that it is not happening in the institutions that we see. But mind you, Buddhism is not dead. There are still people, still a lot of lay people who are keeping the practice alive, the Buddhism alive, the Buddha alive. And the only way to do that is be mindful, and that mindfulness has to be not just for the sake of being mindful, mindfulness to the fore, mindfulness in the driving seat, which means no matter what you do, you have your body all the time. So you can have your attention to the body all the time. So I'm not going to go into much detail of how we do it at this stage. And I would like to talk a little bit more about why we talk so high about mindfulness. The mindfulness is the main advantage that we have in mindfulness is bringing us from the dream world to the experience. If you are not mindful, we are always running behind the carrot, and we never get the carrot. We just die. And that is happening to 99.9% of the world. And until the last breath, they will be looking into the investment portfolios, they will be looking into the share prices, and they will looking into the share prices of the cryptocurrency, and they will die. I know there are people of that such age still doing that. That is because they are living in a dream world. They are living with some expectation. They are living in the future. Or some people are regretting the past. Some people are thinking about other places. So when you live in this manner, you don't know that you are living in a dream. But when you are mindful, you come from the dream to reality. You experience. If there is something that you can have it only now. If you can experience something, you can experience only with yourself, and you should be able to do it here. So the main ingredients to have an experience are, I am here now. So when you are mindful, you will simply be living. It will be experiential living. And because of this experiential living, since you are not thinking about past and the future and other places and other people, you are going to save a lot of energy. Why I'm saying so is because when you live in the past and the future, other places and other people, that living happens mentally. So far as the physical process is concerned, Physical process is always in the moment. When we take an animal, when we take a living being is having three main components. One is the physical process, other is the mental process, the other is the interconnection between these two. The physical process is always having the present moment. The mental process is what? Going into the other times, past and the future. Mental process is what? Going into other places. Mental process is what? Going into other people. So therefore, your physical process is in one place, mental process is in another place. So it is like you having your engine of the car in the garage, whereas the chassis and the other parts are on the side road. So when you have a vehicle like that, it doesn't work. You can't drive that vehicle. But unfortunately, this living beings are able to function, although both the components are not in one place. Their mental process is all over the universe, but the physical process is here, but they are functioning in a very inefficient manner. It is as if a train is going on the main road. Just imagine a train going on a main road. It cannot run. It will have so much of friction. Or a bus going on a railroad. So much of friction. And that is how we are living. But if we bring the mental process also to here now I am, then you start increasing, then you are putting all the components together. When you put all the components together, efficiency start increasing. So this is what attracts the Western world. This is the attraction to the business community, because they want to increase the efficiency of the labor force. They want to increase the efficiency of the people just to save money. But mind you, this is not a money-saving technique. This is not a money-saving thing. It is an inherent right of humanity. This is the first human right which nobody is talking about. And we ourselves don't talk about. We ourselves don't uphold. We have such a magnificent ability in our system, in our mental process, and we don't use that. Instead, we are also fallen into the trap of this inefficient way of living and keep running like headless chicken. Right? So therefore, if you bring your experience to the present moment, that simply increase your efficiency. I remember when I was working in UQ, after about 2.5 years, they told me, we had, during performance appraisal, we had given you more work that you can do, but you have done it without any problem for 2.5 years. I never knew that it had happened. Whatever that was given, I simply did not bother. Just go and do it. When we get some work, we struggle with the work, we struggle with the change, we start reacting. So when we have learned the art of non-reaction, when we have learned the art of living in the moment, then those struggles, those reactions, those negativities will gradually fade away. Not that you purposely do it. Simply because you live in the moment, you have the experience. When you have the experience, you don't want to take a negative experience to yourself because you love yourself. So that love is naturally coming. Since you get that natural love to yourself, you do the work without fighting with yourself. But what happens today in the entire world, when they are not mindful and they try we don't fight with other people. We fight with ourselves. And we spread that our fight to the rest of the world. That is what is happening in the world today. So to avoid that, we can't have a solution for the mass, but we can find a solution for ourselves. If you find a solution to ourselves, then you will start experiencing it, and you will be able to emit that energy to the rest of the world. So I'm living in Sri Lanka at the moment, and very sunny, very humid, but still I have I have been given this opportunity to share this wonderful message with you guys. And it is not happening just today. It is happening on a weekly basis. Sometimes some people keep in touch with me more than twice a week. And people are practicing. People have seen the benefit of it. So therefore, what I simply want to say is this technique is giving you the opportunity to experience your life, and not just the, and it will teach the art of living so harmoniously with yourself. And this harmonious living is not just because I say, and I have met people who have been taking drugs, and what they told me was, you have been practicing for so many years, and you may have achieved some high, but we go to the same high and we simply spend only $15 and no arguments. Yes, even taking drugs, you may be able to go, some achievement, mental achievement. You may feel that you have that achievement. But I told them, yes, true. But to have that same high, you may have to spend $30 in 1 month's time. And in 2 months' time, it will be $60. In 6 months' time, it may be 120. In 1 year, it may be 240, and by that time, you are gone. But I will be doing without spending anything. I'll be doing very slowly. I will be rejuvenated, and I will be even younger in my practice. So therefore, although you can go to the same high with taking drugs, it will not last, because it is something that is chemically changed. You can have the same chemical change without introducing anything to your chemical system, right? How you do that is, and I told them, I introduced mindfulness to them. How I introduce mindfulness to them is not to stop drugs. I told them, take drugs mindfully. And that is not what I am saying. This is what Lord Buddha has said as well. He says, do whatever mindfully. And if you do anything mindfully, then you will start seeing yourself. Then you will start seeing the nonsense that you are doing. If you are doing something bad, your partner or your spouse or your parents or your children or your friends, your siblings will say, give thousands and thousands of lectures to stop it. But you don't give a damn. You don't care. But if you have a technique for you to see yourself, then you will start seeing what a nonsense I am doing. And that is exactly what Lord Buddha has introduced. You see yourself, observe taking drugs, and I have given them some steps to observe. And after 6 months, mind you, they stopped taking drugs. Instead, they started meditating. Even today, some of them are meditating. And it is just one example. I have such examples who have been alcoholics. I have been such examples who have associated prostitutes. And all those people have purified themselves by doing what they are doing mindful. So it is not that something that you will have to be 100% perfect person to become mindful. No. There is no qualification that is required to be mindful. The only qualification that you should have is you should be a human being. Other than that, we don't care anything else. Whether your gender is not something to be bothered about, your age is not considered, your nationality is not considered, your ethnicity is not relevant, your country of origin is not relevant, your complexion is not relevant. there is no discrimination at all. If you are a human being, each and every human being, no matter how bad you are, no matter how good you are, of course, good people will rarely come to this. Only bad people like me will be able to understand this, because we have gone through all nonsense. And then we realize that we haven't found that we have been looking for. Then that maturity only will give this opening of your mind. So therefore, don't worry what you have done in the past. Don't worry what you are doing even now. If you all of us are looking for the happiness, all of us are looking for an answer for this universal problem, the universal problem of unhappiness. The peak of that is the death. And the universal solution is this: here now I am, observation of here now I am. And here is available for everybody. Now is available for everybody. Fathom long body is available to everybody. So therefore, nobody can say, I don't have any qualification to be mine. Only thing is, you should have the will. If you have the will, and if you have a person to tell what it is, then it is very easy to walk on this path. So therefore, mindfulness is a solution, universal solution for a universal problem. So one who is able to live in the moment in this manner, having the experience, he will be knowing the art of living. For the same reason, he will be knowing the art of dying as well. When a good technique that we are using to be mindful is the observation of the breath. There is a huge connection between the breath and the life. There is a huge connection between the breath and the death. So therefore, when we observe our breath, it comes to a point that we don't require so much of oxygen for us to maintain our body. I'm just talking about a person who has practiced it for some time. So when we come to a point that we don't so much of oxygen to maintain our body, then it is almost lack of oxygen means you are experiencing your death. When you experience that situation, if you are able to keep observing, continue observing that situation, you will be able to go through the lack of breath. In other words, you will be able to go through the death while living. So therefore, one who knows the art of mindfulness, he will be knowing the way of living as well as the way of death. But what happens today is the other way around. People are dying to live when they are living. You can go to the city and see, or to the shopping mall and see. People are dying to live, especially these days. But at the time of death, they are asking one more breath. Too late. It is too late. While living, you should have monitored. I am. You should have monitored now. You should have monitored here. That monitoring system, that management system will teach you the art of living. And therefore, when you know how to live, it is very easy to die when you die. And that is exactly what Rishani did. And the last time when she talked to me, I don't remember the question she asked, but I was amazed by the question she asked me. What she told me was, doctors have given me only 3 more weeks, but she lived even, I think, few months after that because of her mental strength. But still, I have this question for you. And she asked a wonderful question. about the practice, about the mind. And I was shocked to hear that a person in such a situation, how is she asking this question? That is because she was practicing the way of living while she was living, and therefore she knew how to die as well. And that is why I tell, and I told that day as well, she is an angel. She has given us a message. And it seems that some of you have heard the message. Some of you are interested about the message. And don't just allow that interest to die. Put into practice. Put that into practice. It is something that can be done only by human beings. If we don't practice this, this is, as I said, this is the main human right we have. If we don't practice this, there is no difference between, I'm very sorry to say, animals and human beings. So you decide yourself which category you want to fall into. Because all animal beings eat, drink, and live in fear and produce their kind and die. Human beings are also doing the same thing. But they think in a larger scale and in a different scale, in a better way than animals. But end of the day, it's the same thing. But only thing that human beings can do is they can develop a non-reactional mentality. And if you develop non-reactional mentality, death will not be able to come close to you. Your mind will be so strong, and that will challenge, as I said earlier, your nervous system. And there is an area in our brain which has never been used. It has been attacked and terrorized by this reactional side of the mind. And you will be able to start opening that up. And when you open it up, there is nothing in the world to challenge you. There is nothing in the world to attack you. You will be able to have your own remote control. But now what happens is remote control is with somebody else. And they press buttons and we start dancing. And we can avoid that if we practice the art of living, which is living in the moment. And not just living in the moment. Everyone is living in the moment. Observe that living. Not that we don't live in the moment. We live in the moment, but we don't know that we are living in the moment. Sometimes we don't live in the moment as well. Only the physical process is living in the moment. Mental process is living somewhere else. But some people, especially before Buddha, there have been people who have been looking answers for this. And meditation is not something that Buddha introduced. It was there even when Buddha was born. But only thing he introduced was keep the mindfulness to the fore. Don't just be mindful. Because when you become mindful, you find what you are looking for. You find serenity. You find peace. When you find serenity and peace, and you get bogged down in it, you will be consumed by that serenity and peace. And that is also a sort of a craving. Blessed One said, you will have to go beyond that. To go beyond that, in order to avoid being sucked, being absorbed, being consumed by such serenity, you will have to keep the mindfulness to the fore. When you keep the mindfulness to the fore, you will not like anything. You will not dislike anything as well. And when you learn this art of not liking and disliking, you will gradually learn the art of the middle path. Middle path is nothing but gradually avoiding the liking and gradually avoiding the disliking. It can be done only through observation. Don't go for judgment. Don't go for decision. So when can you start? You should start it now. There is no auspicious time for it. Auspicious time Blessed One has given. And we say, Singhala Aurudu, that Aurudu, this Aurudu, all nonsense. There are no auspicious times for human beings. Auspicious times for human beings is now. So if you can observe now, of yourself, then you are an auspicious person. You are a superhuman. You have the ability to go to the superhuman capacity. So this is a way of living. So if you have, I'm requesting all of you to get this message, and having this message, learn this way of living and have a teacher and discuss your experiences with the teacher, so that you will be able to gradually introduce this practice into your life. And each and every human being is qualified for that. There is no special qualification required. There is no special precept required. There is no special color, gender, age required for it. Anybody who has the will, a lot of people, they want to do it, but they don't give their time. Then it doesn't work. Intellectually understanding that it is there, that it is good, that it is superb, that it is wonderful, doesn't make any change to you, doesn't make any difference. A lot of people are talking big about it, but no one is practicing, only very handful. So fall into that handful, become a superhuman, and that ability is there for everybody. And there is no limiting factor for this. Nobody can charge this. Nobody can tax this. Nobody can rob this. Nobody can give it to you as well. You will have to develop it yourself. So if you get this message in this manner, I think it is a tribute when we remember 3 months of Rishani's death. And if you practice it, and you will be paying tribute each and every time that you are practicing. So hope all of you take that message and make her an angel. And that is my request to all of you. Hope you have enjoyed my talk. Teruvan Saranai, blessings of the Noble Triple Gem to all of you. So with that, I'm concluding my talk. Hope it made some sense to the audience, and would like to take any questions if you have. I can't hear you if you are talking. Right, if there are no questions, I will hand over to Basita to wind up the session.
අපි පැහැදිලි දේශනාවක් we were listening to very good බණ දේශනාව, and on behalf of my wife, actually I am very blessed to hear that. And yeah, we all know that what to do, but we didn't start yet. That's all I know, that we are not doing the right thing. But that's a good point. Now we all have to do. I think that's a good lesson given to us. And Bante, behalf of everybody here, we are thankful to you, and listen to you. We thinking of listening to you regularly in future. Very thankful to you, Bante.
Yeah. So in order to conclude the session, as we customarily do, we have generated a lot of positive energies in listening to this sermon, and we can pass those positive energies to whoever who would like to receive, especially if Rishani is expecting any such positive energies. May she receive all the positive energies that we have generated today and that we have generated in our life. And to anybody who is expecting such positive energies, may they receive. And with that in our mind, we will chant the traditional stanzas. Ittavata chammehi, ittavata chammehi sambadang punya sampadang, sabbe devanumodantu sabbasang patisiddhya. Ittavata chammehi sambadang punya sampadang, Sabbe bhutanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata cammehi sampadang punya sampadang. Sabbe sattanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasatta ca bhummatta devanaga mahittika. Punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu buddha sasana. Akasatta ca bhummatta devanaga mahittika. Punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu buddha desana. Akasatta ca bhummatta devanaga mahittika. Punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu buddha savakam. Idang o nyati nang hotu kita hontu nyateyo. Idang o nyati nang kita hontu nyateyo. Idang o nyati nang kita hontu nyateyo. Our Pratana Gatha. Imina punya kammena mami bal samagamu. Satang samagamu hotu yavani bhanapattiya. Imina punya kammena mami bal samagamu. Satang samagamu yavani bhanapattiya. Imina punya kammena mami bal samagamu. Satang samagamu yavani bhanapattiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Blessings of the Triple Gem to all of you. All right, I'll be disconnecting from here.